Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Tough Tweaking. Today I will be speaking about the importance of my birthday. Okay, so on the last video that I just posted, it was basically about my birthday, yes, but it was just about the historical events that happened on my birthday. This time I'm going to be speaking more on a spiritual end. So we're going to talk about the spiritual meaning, numerology, the astrology, and all types of shit like that. Okay, so stick with me. Here we go. Okay, so I'm looking at something right now, actually, and it's the date breakdown of my birthday, the numerology number. So it's 926, 199, whatever number is there, okay? I didn't say it in the last video either, just figure it out. So the 9 stands for completion, humanitarian energy, and spiritual wisdom. The 2 stands for harmony, cooperation, and relationships. The 6 stands for responsibility, love, family, and healing. So all together they say my birthday, boom, 0926199, and the last number is equal to 2032, which 2032 equals up to 7. I could have sworn that my numerology number was 9. But anyway, here we go. Okay, so now I understand why my numerology number broke down into a number 7. And it's because they put 9 and 26 as a whole number. They didn't separate the 2 and the 6, and then they put the whole 1990 whatever. Okay, so that makes sense. So that leads us to talk about the life path, or the universal day number, which is the number 7 that we just landed on, all right, during the numerology. So the number 7 is deeply spiritual. It's tied to introspection. It's truth-seeking, inner wisdom, and divine connection. So that's a really great thing. Also, we see number 7 typically as the lucky number. I usually wear a bracelet that says lucky one on it. But yes, I find myself being lucky in a lot of times during my life, a lot of situations. It says here that people or events connected to this day carry themes of soul-searching, mystical insight, and uncovering hidden truths. Okay? All right, so on to the astrology of September 26, 1990. Bleep. So I am a sun sign. I'm a Libra. It says balance, justice, beauty, and harmony, which is basically what we talked about up top. It says moon phase, waning gibbous. I don't really know too much about the moons. Y'all got to help me out with that. I do love the moon, though. It's one tattooed on me right there. And I be seeing a lot of the phases, and faces. Anyways, that's deep. Symbolizes release, reflection, and spiritual cleansing after the full moon's peak energy. I love a clean palette of energy. Love it. All right, it's like a clean canvas. You can just restart everything. Boom. I feel like that's what everybody needs, to be honest. Don't just keep going on and on and on and on. You got all this bullshit energy attached to you. So, planetary influence. Libra is ruled by Venus. Love, art, and values. So the day carry energy for healing relationships, seeking beauty, and finding balance. That's pretty fucking cool. All right, so that last video, I actually told y'all that I spoke about the history of my birthday. So here it actually gives me the symbolism inside of those actual historical events that I spoke about. So this is to go with the spiritual meaning of the birthday and those events that took place on my birthday. So with the Assisi earthquake, which is what we talked about, which happened in Italy, it damaged the Basilica of St. Francis, a saint known for peace, humility, and love of creation. Spiritually, this could symbolize the shaking of foundations in order to restore faith and rebuild stronger. Okay, if you're spiritual, you can hear where I'm coming from. We also spoke about the Garuda flight that happened in Indonesia, I believe it was. Garuda is also the name of a sacred mythical bird in Hinduism and Buddhism. If y'all know about Hinduism and Buddhism, they have some pretty, I would say, spiritually grounded beliefs, if that makes sense. It's typically on a positive aspect when I see Buddhism, especially. Hinduism, I don't know as much about Hinduism as I do Buddhism, but I do know it typically surrounds itself with positive energy, on a regular basis. Okay, so spiritually, this tragic event may represent the fragility of human life and the eternal soul's journey beyond physical existence. So basically, in other words, while those people might have died, I want to say it was about 240 people, I think, that was on that flight. All of them died. But when they say it's the representation of fragility of human life, it's basically how fragile our lives can be. We are very strong beings, but we can be pretty fragile, you know, especially when it comes to a crazy, tragic moment like that. And then it says the eternal soul's journey beyond physical existence. So although those people did die, their soul never dies. Our soul never dies, which has a lot to do, I guess, with the whole Hinduism and Buddhism thing. We never actually die. Our body does expire eventually, or it can be damaged, which is the fragility of it, right? But our soul, our actual spirit, like, that's inside of us and everything like that, which is what makes us who we are, not just our brains and our characteristics or whatever, but our personality is a part of, like, our soul, our spirit, you know. In other words, we can also get soul ties and stuff like that. That stuff is real. So that's just to break that down for y'all. Then another prominent event that happened, Ken Griffey Jr., the baseball player, he hit his 56th home run, and Mariah Carey's Honey song, topping the charts, both reflect peak creative and expressive energy. And they say it's balancing the tragedy with inspiration, embracing spiritual lessons through challenge and loss. So when it comes to, for example, you can't have, like yin yang, you can't have the good without the bad without the good, that kind of thing. Or, for example, you can't spell successful without an L. Like, it's certain things that you have to go through, certain obstacles, trials and tribulations that you have to go through in order to get to your success. Things are going to be challenging. Yes, things will be lost. Yes, you will take some L's. You feel me? But you win some, you lose some. All these good phrases to remind you that you need this in order to get here. You feel me? I just had that conversation with somebody today. Number 4, turning inward for reflection and healing. Pretty much what I'm doing with y'all right now. Also, I'm not just doing this with y'all, I'm doing this with myself. I am literally reflecting myself. I'm looking right at myself. And I'm also a healing person. And with me speaking, what I do is I manifest my healing. So that means while I'm speaking, while I just exist every day, I'm healing with any and everything that I do, with everybody that I speak to. Also with everybody that comes in contact with me, they are healing as they speak to me. They are healing as they listen to me. They are healing if I touch them. They are healing. Everybody is healing that comes in contact with me. I am healing as I provide you with this knowledge and this energy. Literally, especially with my number being a 7. Anyways, I still can't believe that. I thought it was a 9. But here we go. So yeah. All right, guys. So with that being said, spiritually, September 26, 1990 was a day of awakening, balance, and transformation. It was also where destruction and tragedy coexisted with beauty, creativity, and cosmic insight. And it's so funny because all 3 of those words, beauty, creativity, and cosmic insight, well, technically 4-word cosmic insight. Anyways, they literally kind of give me a representation of myself. I'm very creative. I know that I'm beautiful. I'm not cocky with it, you know. And in order for a person to be beautiful in my eyes, you have to be beautiful inside and out. That means it could be the baddest bitch walking down the street, but if she comes off like a bitch, she's no longer beautiful to me anymore. Period. So keep that in mind, y'all. When you exploit the most positive energy, you get positive back. Keep that in mind. And stay tuned for the next. Thank you.